Viet Hai is an isolated valley of Cat Ba Island, accessible only through a single, small harbor. It would have been easily forgotten years ago if it hadn't been for the tourism brought to the area by one of the most scenic bays in the world, Ha Long Bay. A series of thousands of limestone cliffs weathered over countless ages. I didn't expect to do anything more here than have a relaxing weekend away from busy city life. But I never miss an opportunity to learn what I can about the history and the culture of Vietnam. And even more so, on this occasion, the people who make this island and the waters that surround it their home. Luckily, out of all the cruises on the bay that offer a luxury travel experience, there's one that lets you dive into history as well. I must admit, I'm a sucker for immersive experiences. And even though I'm currently on a ship, every detail of the design feels like a living history museum. On this ship, you're surrounded by art and literature. And they even provide you with traditional clothing. All of these things have been handpicked to transport you back to a very distinct place in time. To the time of Vietnam's King of Ships, Bac Thai Bui. This is the entrepreneur who revolutionized the Vietnamese shipping industry in the early 20th century. He did this by competing with the French colonizers and putting shipping into the hands of the Vietnamese for the first time ever. I wanted to know more, and I was fortunate enough to sit down with Pham Ha, the owner of Heritage Cruises, and ask him some questions. Why is Bac Thai Bui so influential to you?
Well, that is good questions. We learn from school. The more I write about him, I find that is one of the most important person and influential person in my business. How to say, we start business from start up from very small. Also, we speak French as foreign language, and also I come to France after 100 years. I am born on 100 years after him.
Really?
Yes,
oh,
and I
cool.
launched the Binh Chuẩn ship. After just 100 years after him. Okay, that's why we bring 100 pieces of art on the Binh Chuẩn.
On that ship?
Yes, 100.
Wow.
To celebrate 100 years of Binh Chuẩn cruise ship,
I see. Okay.
Art in Vietnam is like the history of the country. He tells us the story of the country, the tradition, and also the landscape and the local people, the quest of the Vietnamese people during the time from the war to the peacetime. We see a lot of Vietnamese societies and the culture and history of Vietnam. For example, we on cruise ship we show some of the painting on rice sack. the painting on rice sack,
What is that? Oh, on a rice sack.
Yes, exactly.
Oh,
It's actually unique because during the war that painting the painters they have they lack of material to paint, but the rice sack is very abundant.
I see.
A lot of there, so they paint on that.
As I've spent the last decade of my life working in tourism, I felt privileged to be able to sit down with someone I admire so much, and I took this opportunity to ask some deeper questions about the impact tourism has on local culture. It's a common belief that economic development and tourism does nothing but harm the traditional ways of life. So I wanted to get his take on this idea.
I see only the positive impact in local in local economy and local people. Basically, travelers are looking for authentic and unique experiences in the new destinations. So if you keep the intact and in values, local people are happy with that, and more people to come.
Yeah.
And especially that local people is the main thing people come, to see the region. This is a local culture, you have to protect the natural heritage,
Right.
of local people, of landscape, and also the way of living, and also the tradition. You create job for local people, and you preserve landscape and nature of the regions, but also you build the destination is better place for local people to live in and better place for travelers to visit.
Here in the bay, or in the green valleys of the island, we can see exactly what he is talking about. This is Lan Homestay, an exquisite display of landscaping in the heart of Viet Hai. A piece of art where travelers can stay, which was created by the locals. It's an expression that would not be possible on an economy of rice farming alone, or without the development of modern roads to access this remote island valley. When we take a step back, we begin to see the history, the cuisine, the design, and even the martial arts that are preserved by the industry of tourism. We can see people brought closer together by nothing more than the common desire to simply relax. Instead of seeing fields left empty, we can see the opportunities created for people to share their gifts and their talents. We can recognize living artists who subsist from their craft alone. And if we lament the world becoming homogeneous, we will overlook the culture of health that every human can add to their lives by this transformation.